What's up, my pretties? Welcome to episode 259 of Shadows and Pretties. And today in this video, we are going to be reviewing another Stephen King movie that was based on a book from 1977 by the story of the same name called Children of the Corn. This movie came out in 1984, so this one is a pretty good film. It does have a lot of great concept for it, as well as Stephen King wrote a script based on his own short story, and of course this is pretty interesting. Although the film was shot in Iowa, pretty much in different cities and places in Iowa, so it's pretty interesting that they did shots at different places. However, there is some stuff that I can really say right now. There is the 2009 Children of the Corn remake of the film, as well as the 2020 remake. So I have not seen the remake of this movie, any of the remakes, and I am aware that it does have the sequels as well, but I'm only going to review the first Children of the Corn movie because I have not reviewed or seen the other ones. So I will consider it, but only once I've seen the sequels to Children of the Corn. This movie is definitely a good Stephen King one. It's a cult classic, although that's just my eyes. And the plays mainly took in Iowa mainly, but also in places in California. So, of course, with that being said, let's begin with this story, and I'll begin explaining what the plot is about in case if you guys have not seen this movie in a really long time, and for those who would want a refresher of this movie. So I guess we should get started on that. And, you know, I guess we should begin with, well, this movie. So, the film is set in the fictional town of Gatlin in Nebraska, an agriculture community surrounded by huge cornfields. When the corn crops fails one year, the townsfolk turns to prayer to ensure a successful harvest. However, a 9-year-old boy named Isaac Kroner takes all the children from Gatlin into the cornfields, where he integrates them into a religious cult based on around a bloodthirsty dietary called "He Who Walks Behind the Rows." Isaac and his subordinate Malakani lead the children to a revulsion, murdering all the adults in the town as human sacrifices. Yep, there is cult related BS going on in this story, but that's what makes it scary. Children Job and his sister Sarah are uninvolved with the sacrifices, having not to attend to any of the meetings in the cornfield with the other children, although Sarah has visions portraying though through the drawings. So 3 years later, Vicky and her boyfriend Bert travel through the rural Nebraska on their way to Seattle, where Bert will start working as a physician. Zian. Elsewhere, a young boy named Joseph tries to flee Gatlin, but he gets attacked in the corn and stumbles out on the road. That's when Bert accidentally runs him over. However, Bert discovers that his throat was cut beforehand, but Bert and Vicky place Joseph's body in their trunk and search for the phone for help. So they find Daly, an elderly mechanic who is the last adult in Gatlin, but he refuses them service as he's agreed to supply the children with fuel in exchange for his life. However, Malakani breaks through the pact and murders him against Isaac's wishes after Daly tries to steer the couple away from Gatlin. Vicky and Bert explore the abandoned town and they find Sarah alone in the house. While Vicky stays with her, Bert searches the town. Makalachai and his followers appear. They capture Vicky and take her to the cornfield, where they place her on a cross to be sacrificed. But Bert enters in the church, where a congregation of children led by a girl named Rachel, performing a cultural birthday ritual for Amos by drinking the blood from a pentagram shaped cut on his body. Amos has turned 19, so is considered old enough for his passing, joining their god in the cornfield, but Bert scolds the children for participating in such a blood ritual. Eventually, Rachel stabs Bert, but then Michaela and the others chase him too. Job rescues Bert as they hide in the fallout shelter with Sarah, where they can learn that Vicky was captured. The zealous Isaac scolds Maclay for his treachery against killing Dele in the source full of fuel. Maclay then takes over tired of Isaac's preaching and orders Isaac to be sacrificed instead of Vicky. So Isaac warns Micaiah that sacrificing him will break the pact, whom he walks behind the rows of children will be severely punished. So that night Bert sneaks into the cornfield to rescue Vicky. During Isaac's sacrifice, a supernatural light appears, seemingly devouring him, but Bert emerges and overpowers Micaiah and then convinces the children to abandon the cult and run for their safety. Isaac, however, suddenly reappears and is revived by he who walks behind the rows, informing Micaiah that the deity is angered over him and being sacrificed, and that he who walks behind the rows wants Micaiah sacrificed as well for his betrayal. So Isaac kills him. So a storm eventually appears over the cornfield, and Bert and Vicky shelter the children in a barn. Bert reads the passage in the Bible Job gives him, and Job also reveals that the police officer had tried to set up the gasoil to try and stop who he walks behind the rows, but Malchia murdered him before he could finish. Vicky rereads the passage and realizes that the cornfield must be destroyed by fire in order to stop the false god. Bert sprays the cornfield with gasoline and then tosses a Molotov cocktail into the field, setting it alight and destroying the demon along with Isaac, Vicky, Bert, and Jacob and Sarah. They've eventually returned to the car or to leave Gatesland, but find it disabled. Rachel attacks Bert, but Vicky knocks her out with her car door. But worries about leaving her there, Vicky quilps that they will send a get well card from Seattle, and they depart with the children on foot. Thus, how the movie ends. A lot of people really don't like this movie, and this is honestly something I'm really confused about because it's a pretty good Stephen King movie. I mean, it's a good movie. It's a good story too. I'm not gonna lie. The story itself was really messed up, but it's still a pretty good movie regarding how well made the movie is. I personally really enjoyed the concept of it. I mean, it's a pretty good movie, especially for something that was made in the 80s. It's a pretty good movie. Although I have not seen the sequels to it, so I don't plan to review the sequels until I've seen them, but I don't know if I will ever see them. Now, this is probably one of the downfalls that Stephen King's movies went, but I don't understand why this movie was so hated. Like, I mean, I personally enjoyed the concept and I liked the movie. I thought it was a pretty good one. But it makes me wonder, why was this some movie so hated? I mean, I don't understand that, but despite that, the film is pretty interesting and it's a pretty good movie from the 80s. Although it does have some flaws as well as the sequels, but this was still a pretty good movie. I think it might have been maybe the weakest Stephen King movie, but movie that was based on the book. But like I said, I can't really be for sure if that's the case or not because, in all due reality, this was actually a pretty good story. I personally liked it. It was well made in detail. It's definitely a pretty awesome movie. I'd personally really like the plot line. I really do. Even though the plot line seems interested about the children being killers, it's normally surprising that the adults or animals become the killers, but in this one, this is definitely different. It is really well awesome. And even though it's got pretty good acting and the actors did a great job with it, I personally really enjoyed it. So, with that being the case and with that being said, I personally enjoyed this story. I thought it was a really good one. So, like I said before, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these movies, and this is my own personal thoughts. If you don't like this movie, that's fine. If you like this movie, that's fine too, because I respect your opinion regardless. So, I really recommend this movie. It's a pretty good one. You guys will not be disappointed once you've seen it. It's pretty good. So, I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, yeah, I have not seen the sequels to The Children of the Corn yet, so I won't be able to review those until, you know, other that. But like I said before, that's just all that matters. So I could definitely say right now it's a pretty good film. I really do enjoy it. So, yeah, I can definitely say it's definitely a pretty good story. So, yeah, I don't know when I'll see the other Children of the Corn movies, but I'll take a look at them when I can. So, Anyways, with that being the case and with that being said, what did you guys personally think of this story? Did you really enjoy this story? Did you not? Also, what would you have done to make this story a lot better or movie a lot better, whatever you prefer to see it as? So, anyways, I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, if you want to go check out my DeviantArt page, you are more than welcome to check it out. So I could definitely say right now that this is still a pretty good pretty good story. I highly recommend you check this movie out. If you're interested in following my DeviantArt, be sure to go follow me on DeviantArt. If you want to follow me on Twitter, be sure to go follow me on Twitter as well. If you want to follow my backup channel, called Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to do so as well, as that's my backup channel. All those will be located in the About page section of my channel main page when you go there. So, yeah, anyways, with that being said, that being the case, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, and like always, I'll see you all next time.